off that burp with a silence. So maybe Raijin dash in off the stun. Decent trading. Charon trying to get the blue. Their team able to confirm that. Bacchus unfortunately flopping in. Obviously getting that blue versus the Persephone. Wave clear. So they have prio for red here. Charon obviously finding a ton of value. Trying to steal that red. Creates that separation. They confirm 2 buffs over the 1 on the side of, what's this? Kenji's roster. God, I have to look at rosters. Apologize. What's up, Zero? How are you? Hi, Sippy. I spelled it out. What do I see? Okay, how am I supposed to pronounce that? Bolden, how am I supposed to pronounce CEWM?
CEWM?
Yeah, how do you pronounce that?
I think pass on that one.
Oh, that's funny. You don't want to say it out loud. Unfortunate. All right, 3 buffs on this side of Attire's roster. Honestly, I'm assuming that the triple Maj should honestly run away with early game area clear, aka area AoE damage on the double Mage Charon. They just have a ton of poke, ton of area damage. They have 3 buff control. They're gonna hit 5 before this Kenji roster does. So I want to see the itemization and target selection really go. It'd be really well communicated and done really well on the side of Kenji. I think they should be able to. I want to see this heart ward before they really pick a fight. Get a heart ward online that should swing favor a little bit. Maybe get a couple more auras for the Bacchus. I'm assuming I want to see a heart ward, maybe Shoguns for the Ho Yi, and then run the fights from there. Should swing in the favor. But then again, I guess we'll have to see. Bans, they accidentally mismade lobby, so we didn't get to see bans, Hatter. Sorry about that. Smoothly, I have to say that word smoothly. I guess I'm not going to say it smoothly. Move the camera, thank you, sorry. My fault. Thank you. Bop, there we go. Alright. Full item's not online yet. I'm assuming the Raijin's going in either. I'm assuming he's going to go into Coin or Chronos Pendant. Obviously, they're one of those. Baba Yaga probably going to go to Book of Thoth. Nothing really spicy on the side of the pickups. But like I said, that area AoE damage from the side of 2 mages and Charon, that'd be really rough to try to step up and poke. Obviously, with the Raiju on the side of the Raijin, the Charon range damage is crazy. They should get complete buff control for a little while until Kenji's roster decides they get that Heart Ward online, maybe that Shogun's before they really favor a fight here. I'm assuming this should be a 4 buff on the side of Attire's roster. They should just get red wave, blue wave, purple. Unless they decide to go from buff to buff. That damage range poke immediately forcing on top of the Persephone. Good dodge on the Raijin. Unfortunately, the Baba Yaga able to get that final hit. Ho Yi forced backwards. Raijin dash immediately following. Bacchus all... just not enough. Is this Bacchus able to confirm this on leap? And does. So that makes it a 1-for-1. The Heart Ward is online. Persol just off the mark, not catching the Baba Yaga. I don't know if that even kills or gets a ton of value even catching that. Maybe gets in range to cast. Maybe panics her a little bit, getting her a little time to catch up. But however, still a 1-for-1 trade. Not terrible. I'm not upset about that on either side of the roster. I want to see this triple magical. Obviously, they're going to find a ton of value off of pressure. That range poke, like I had mentioned. So I think they need to run away with this before Kenji's roster gets on itemization. I would, honestly... I think this is one of those times where I would like to see this Ho Yi go crit. However, that Raijin is going into that Fizz more so Bruiser-esque build. So maybe not. I wouldn't mind the Shoguns, but I think the Shogun's going to go on the Bacchus. You're talking about putting a Shoguns on the Ho Yi or a little Majdi. I wouldn't mind seeing a Majdi on the side of either one of if not both, of Kenji's rosters. I think that kind of delays itemization to get online to really do a ton on the side of the ADC. Maybe on the purse, but I don't know. You can go both ways on that, to be honest with you. I think they get out range poked regardless. But that was a good flop regardless by the Bacchus, picking up, making sure / confirming that 1-for-1 trade. I do agree the Raiju, aka Raijin 2, especially with that base damage. I'm surprised he didn't, especially going this bruiser build, didn't elect to go the tablet for the true damage. I think tablet would have gone mental. However, electing to coin, still have that a ton of good power spike, 65 power plus the 20 pen. Not a bad item regardless, so he's going to find a ton of value here, period. I would agree that going a little bit Maj D on either one of these CPS, if not both. Oh, unfortunately, the Raijin able to catch the dash, or catch the back. Let me rephrase that. Beads. Is that enough to actually get him out? Purse and Raijin full cast. The Hui getting the stun on top of the Baba. Getting that one kill. Does he get that second for that extension? Oh, you have to be a little careful on the Raijin cast. Up downs. Bounce off the mark. Raijin will think, again, a little aggressive here. Purse is back, so honestly, the Purse getting out there is huge. All three ultimates extended, not able to contact that Purse, just out of range, and the Hoyi getting the return kill on that extension through tower, absolutely huge for them. Especially that going on the ADC, giving them some of that gold, trying to transition, getting that build online. I would be ecstatic about that as a Kenji roster. We're almost the Shogun's on top of this Bacchus. I absolutely love some of that. That range poke going to come to play. They're positioning yourself for the red on the poke on top of this Purse. Getting a little bit of a cast on that Baba Yaga. Raijin confirming red by himself. That wave clear obviously still turning in. I'm trying to take a look at the graphs here. The gold difference obviously swung a little bit there. XP 1300. Kershaw with the big grade of 93. Welcome everybody to the BBC Joust League. This is the second set out of 3 tonight. We have one more set to watch as well. This is game number 1 of the second set. For those of you who don't know, we're running a cash Joust League. First split ever, so I'm excited. Welcome, welcome. It is huge games. Game number 1, triple magical, a little spicy. They did run all 3. Charon alt force Baba as well. Baba got poked down there. The Hoi gets a big jump. Persalt swung, originally aiming for the Raijin, immediately swung it for that 90-degree angle, trying to get contact to the Baba, a little off the mark. A little unfortunate timing, maybe a big call out. This Hoi is hovering. He didn't pick up purple. Maybe the Raijin doesn't know he's here. A big double bounce by the Hoi. Does he turn that around? He gets a pickup. That is absolutely huge. Hoi 2-0. That is exactly what I want to see on top of this ADC. Giving him more and more, getting him a little ahead. Obviously, level 9. Getting a pick on that Raijin, who was the highest XP. Big pickup there. Honestly, probably a big heads-up play. He didn't even start contacting the purple buff. Making that Raijin not think anyone is there is huge. Now, the Purse did elect to go the Maj D, right? We have the Heart Ward on here for the Bacchus. So a ton of magical D. The Hoi is the only one without magic D at all. You have a Heart Ward on the side of the Charon as well. So honestly, the only one who's not running Bruiser for the most part. I'm assuming that's going to be a Cloak. Obviously, Sands of alternate timeline late for the Baba. The only one who's going to be not running Bruiser is this Hoi. He's got to be really conscious of that, playing accordingly, positionally. Again, they need to position a lot of this poke. This triple magical comp wants to poke them down, maybe force them into a bullfight, right? They're going to be poking them down, force them under tower, get them 3/4 health, if not half. positioning for that bullfight, forcing his team to come out of tower, being poked down, and then immediately into a bad situation, bad fight at bull is really what I want to see on the side of that. Outside of that, for the Kenji comp, I want to see them really all in / target select like this. Persol a little off the mark, however. I wish it would have contacted that Raijin for that damage. The Hou-Yi on top of that Raijin puts him at half. The Hou-Yi and the Purse both jump in. How does this fight actually turn out? The Raijin fearless the way for both. Unfortunately, Kenji's comp is completely poked out. Good shell to get them out. Charon dashes in for the root. Baba is extremely low. Gotta be careful. Immediately gets picked up. A 1-for-1 trade. Hou-Yi getting a little aggressive. Gets that stun. Gotta be a little careful because he is by himself. The Persephone is nowhere near it. And he jumps in. Is that enough? Oh my god. Raijin stunning and the base damage on that Raijin with breastplate. Honestly, I don't even think that ever goes well for the Hou-Yi, considering the Raijin had that base protection. I think that is not... I love that aggression. I don't think that ever goes well into that Raijin with that breastplate. That's just unfortunate. Really well played by a Tiger's roster. I am not saying that team name. I feel like I just refuse to. What's up, J-Man? How are you, man? Charon is phenomenal. Should name the Cog players. It's funny. Alright, so we got second relic. Obviously, Raijin going that shell. No second relics on the side of Kenji's roster. Persephone just ticking over to level 12. Really interested to see what they elect to do. Bacchus going to that Pride 1 proc. Let me do that. Boom. Getting that full clear on wave. They have prio. Take a look at the graphs real quick again. Obviously, the gold difference is kind of mitigated thus far. XP obviously leading on the side of the Tiger's roster. Not completely...
I gotta go run some errands real quick. I'll be back in a little bit.
You're good, buddy. Have a good time. Have a good time on errands. It's crazy. I double knock up on that leap. I love the aggression on the Bacchus. However, the Hou-Yi wasn't even near this fight. The Bacchus, unfortunately, a little aware. But do they get that pick? Anyway, they do. That is crazy. Bacchus, obviously, having that magical D, 2 items online, not enough damage to really kill him for that flop. And the Hou-Yi was nowhere near that. That is a incredible trade, regardless. Almost a 2v3, if you will. Considering the Hou-Yi wasn't in range until that first Hou-Yi ult. Purse getting a lot of value from those plants on that range poke. Raijin immediately dashed toward the purple. Charon being down. Obviously, some of these staggered backs or deaths on the side of the Charon is allowing the Baba and the Raijin to get farmed up on these bruiser picks. So not necessarily a bad thing, even though he is dying. I would like to see some of the prio targets be more toward the Raijin and the Baba on the side of Kenji's roster, trying to find some of that value and pick. A Frenzy pickup on the side of the Hou-Yi. Now that is interesting. No defense, but decides to go the Frenzy. I'm not 100% on that. Obviously, going a little bit for that burst, that all-in potential on top of this Baba or Raijin, knowing they don't have Aegis. So maybe that is a heads-up play. Maybe going... I would have liked to see... maybe we go a Sunder on this Bacchus. On that flop, getting a double or triple Sunder would be huge for them. And the Baba house, more the bruiser picks on all 3 of these. Raijin able to get the red for free. A lot of this range poke still coming through. Tiger's roster is still feeling incredibly healthy. I wonder if they immediately just go bull here after wave clear. They all have second relic short of the Raijin shell. I'm assuming they're going to try to bait this fight, right? They want this team to step in. Bacchus had to back. Bacchus doesn't have second relic yet. This fight should favor. Hou-Yi has Frenzy. Wonder if he looks for a nice little cheeky fight. He Frenzies right away. Charon alt. Hou-Yi forced to jump. Now he's pathing around. The Purse alt contacts. Does he get a bounce? Only a single bounce. Beads isn't enough, though, unfortunately. And the Baba almost dies, but somehow gets that jump off in the middle of everything. Now that is incredibly unfortunate. Hou-Yi obviously trying to kite around, looking for that cheeky bounce. However, His jump being down and forcing a beach immediately gets him picked. A little unfortunate and a disconnect. The frenzy as well. And I would have liked to see a different relic more so on the Hou-Yi, but I get where the thought process coming in. Maybe look for that cheeky little one-off double, triple bounce with the frenzy would really just burst someone completely. Raijin dashing in, getting a ton of poke on this Persephone. Charon tanking this for them. Tower is at half health. Like we mentioned, they were just baiting fights. Big flop on the side of the Bacchus, getting that double knockup. Hou-Yi's in the air that entire time. He jumps out, which immediately thinks that turns into a losing fight. He is nowhere near this fight. The Raijin dashes him. Did we look for the 1v1? Alt a little off the mark. Didn't have the stun. A little unfortunate. Fight a little disconnected. Now Bacchus flopping in. Gonna get picked here. Unfortunate both. That is a double kill. Should be T1 considering the Hou-Yi has to back. I love the initial initiation by the Bacchus. A little bit of a disconnect. I don't know if that was in comms or just communication in general. Immediately wasn't cast on. Hou-Yi jumping over the wall completely splits that fight right away. Although I think the thought process was Hou-Yi jumping out without beads, knowing that Raijin could just taunt him into that damage. A little rough regardless as soon as he jumps down. However, favor that fight not going in their favor. Hou-Yi just trying to get in range. Maybe trying to steal this bull. Range 1 or full combo used on this Charon. Guaranteeing bull. Charon ult down. Hou-Yi still hunting. A cancel of the 1. Gotta be a little careful. Raijin dashes in. Immediately goes into ult. Tries to frenzy it. His jump is down. He should be dead with his Baba ult hitting all 3. And is. I like the idea of trying to catch that back. Maybe sneaking a cheeky kill. However, we are playing with 3 mans of communication. A little unfortunate off the mark. This Raijin base damage of poke, even with this Bruiser build, is doing so much. Obviously, just building Bruiser, allowing to play aggressive, going for that stun, going into all taunting for the rest of the team to try to get that base damage off is crazy value for them. Now, Bull, that bird is at half, so they have probably just under, if not around 30 seconds to rush down for this bird. Baba and Charon are here, hovering / waiting for this Raijin to path in. This is game 1. Get to the Justin set. The Justin set is directly after this one, Justin. Raijin immediately dashing the Bacchus. Bacchus ulting. Hou-Yi ult just catching the Charon. Nice double knockup. Bacchus getting asunder on top of the Raijin. Immediately rooted. He's going to be taunted into the Baba damage. That should be the end, and it is of the Bacchus. Aegis forced on the Persephone. It is a silence as well. Hou-Yi jumped in to the 3, immediately blown up for that. And that should be bird. I wish we played a little bit more patient, knowing the bird came up. We could have played off of the bird spawn there. Maybe use that as a second person. Jumping in there was a little rough. That base damage kind of popping off for them. First one a little off the mark. Even then, I don't think they killed the Raijin, pushed him low. I think they're going to back off after wave clear regardless. Titan poke to half. They're just going to back off here and immediately can just run this down essentially. At least putting it to a quarter before going for the next bull and bird. At this point, it's on the side of Kenji's roster to really come back into this game. Itemization. The Hou-Yi is going crit. I'm assuming that's going to be a Deathbringer last item. Problem with going crit is it's extremely expensive. Trying to get that itemization online just feels incredibly rough. Baba it does have cloak, does have coin. Only level 17 though, so you're not going to see that alternate timeline. I think they're just going to end before you even see that. Now they should just push up wave, using Fire Wave for pressure to step in and constantly poke down this Titan. I want to see this get down to a quarter at minimum. If not, finishing the game here, depending on if they can get a pick. Good base damage on this Raijin, forcing him back. Hoi all in with the ult. Raijin immediately heads up play, dashing it. Their target's the Bacchus. They're CCing him down, but instead immediately swings. Good target selection change toward the other two DPSs who put themselves out of position. That should be a game. Hoi all looking for that all in, and then immediately the Raijin dashing into ult for the CCM Unity, getting out of the Hoi ult. Obviously going more so Bruiser, taunting, allowing that Baba to get the damage off, then going to ult herself. Really well played by the side of a Tigers roster. That is game number 1. Triple magical with the dub. Even that I don't know. We're going with that? Sure. I think that Chalk, the Chalk Arachne Danzaburo bands definitely went fucking hard for sure. Alright, I'm interested to see Contagion. I'm assuming I want to see a Contagion Salve on the Bacchus. Warriors X. I'm surprised we don't Warriors X or Bluestone. I'm assuming that's going to be our Runeforge first on the Nike. Kama, it looks like we're going that Bruiser start. Obviously, a lot of Assassins going that starter into Thebes. So it looks like Bluestone into Thebes, and then going damage the rest of it. Obviously, that survivability and stats on the Thebes, and then the survivability and then diveability later with itemization. I think a lot of this comp early, right? This team should be running mid to early. I think a lot of this is dependent on the Hercules, how the Hercules plays. If the Hercules gets those big push pulls and kind of facilitates these two to play the game and get ahead, I think they just run it. Obviously, I think they still scale harder, assuming we get a lot of pen and the side of the Kama and Medusa, knowing that notably there's going to be so much FizzD. I'm not thrilled that we're triple starting the blue versus the Nike hovering to possibly steal or contest this red. So they get 2 buffs for the price of 1 here. A little unfortunate. It's pull push. Yeah, push pulls. Pull push. You know, you can do it both ways. So 2 buffs for 1. Pull a little bit off the mark. That would have been huge to start it off, forcing beads. Spies that blue, aka order. Instead of Kenji doesn't immediately go purple. Getting some decent poke though. Now the Raijin, there should favor clear. Medusa, I'm assuming, will be leveling her spit. Trying to go for that wave clear. Kama trying to get that wave clear as well. Raijin's going to beat them on that. Nike 1, Raijin 1, 2 is going to out clear the most part. For the most part against the Tires roster. This pulls a little off the mark. I would have loved, it would be huge to see that start. Obviously plenty of games still to play. I would like to notably mention the Carapace Shard versus any other elected horn or potential bow there. Looking for that. Give that a little bit of prawn shred. It's a big shell. They're looking for this fight. Both teams a little worse for wear here. Kama getting that little bit of sustain off the Nike. Good flop. That Hercules push pull or pull push would have contacted. I definitely think that possibly could have translated into a kill. Because box would have had a jump and they could just all in from there. Would have forced an interesting situation regardless. Shell's still up for the Bacchus though. While it's down for a Tires roster. Raijin 2 a little off the mark, catching. Able to clear the wave though. Honestly, I think this is just a matter of time. As soon as Hercules actually contacts one of these pull pushes, this turns into a little bit of a rough situation on the side of Kenji's roster. Big jump in. Alt on all 3 by the Nike. This looks like an all-in. I would have liked to see a taunt or a fearless on the side of this Raijin. Instead of just going for... He went for straight damage, which would have been enough, assuming the Bacchus was in range to contact damage as well.
I've arrived.
Welcome back. Honestly, I think if the Bacchus was actually on the same page there could have, or at least had the mana. Looked like the mana was a little low. Able to jump in and get ult off. I think that might have translated to a kill for Kenji's roster, period. A little unfortunate that we didn't have the mana or wasn't around for it. How'd your errands go?
Good. Went and got some milk and trash out real quick.
Nice. Red is up. Gold almost completely the same here. And gold and XP. We're almost dead state even. Almost 4 minutes into the game. Level 5's hit. Baka still has out, so it's the same with the Hercules. I'm assuming Kenji's roster, aka Raijin, OJ-Man, or let me rephrase that. Kenji's roster, Bolden, Metal Dream, Slayness. Force Wave clear and immediately go to red buff here. Baka's hovering for the stun / burp. We're flopping on the buff, allowing the Hercules to kind of push in. Both Nike and Raijin jumps are down. Nike alt. There should be an all-in on the Hercules. And it is. All 3 alts extended. First blood. And it goes on to the Nike. Decent poke onto the Kama. Immediately going to translate to purple buff. There are the Chesters up here as well. I would notably like, typically for those that don't know, it makes it a lot easier on the wave clears, so they could have already been backed. Pulling both of the Chesters to the purple and clearing all at the same time. A little bit of a micro change for that roster. Now they're backing. Raijin immediately went into the Divine. Obviously, the lifesteal on all 3, right? Ozzy, a.k.a. auto attack on the Medusa, Kama, and Hercules, all having healing here. And there's that breastplate on the Raijin. I'm assuming that should be a contagion on the Bacchus, sovereignty into contagion, glass shield on the Nike. They're just going to be incredibly hard. They're going to have to be pretty well coordinated on the side of a Tyra's roster, picking a target, noting that all of them are going to have FizzD. The Nike does not have a recipe, it's true. It's a little unfortunate. Hercules contacts up a pull push, forcing the Raijin dash. Now the Kama pops Carapace Shard. It should just all in here. Big Hercules boulder. There's that all in we talked about. And another pull push by the Hercules. Really well comboed. Now does the Kama get out alive? Fortunately, his ult was down. Big pickup exchange. The real thing. Again, yet another pull. However, a push a little off the mark. That might result, unfortunately, in the death of his ADC. An unfortunate misplay, if you will, by the Hercules. Getting that pull, which would have been incredibly massive. However, just missing that push, forcing that Medusa into a bad position and getting the Medusa killed. What turned into a decent trade went really, really poorly. Goes to show you what one missed ability, unfortunately, can do. Outside of that, that push-pull onto the Raijin, forcing the dash, allowing the Kama to get on top of him. Really, really cleanly done. Kama having plenty of puddles. Another pull push, forcing Raijin beads. Big knock-up on the side of the Bacchus, allowing that Raijin to get a cast. And does he contact? He does. He picks up that range kill. Huge, and all facilitated by the Bacchus flop. This is actually going very well on the side of Kenji's roster. It should be red buff. Obviously, Kenji's roster with this Raijin, Bacchus, Nike, forcing or clearing wave, guaranteeing the red. I'm assuming they're just going to back here. Red's going to go out. I would have liked to see it on the Nike. Goes on the Bacchus. Obviously going to the Nike more so for the Warrior Act, Glass, Shield, Rune Forge. You're fine, Slayness. You don't have to apologize. Mistakes happen. There's always stuff to learn. Trust me, I'm not calling out anyone's shit. It's more so just observations. You're good.
You're calling me shit, though.
I'm calling Bolden shit. Let me rephrase that, guys. Let's be very clear. Bolden is shit. However, I'm not calling him that shit. There's always stuff to improve on. Even the top level players, we can really nitpick, talk about auto tracking or pathing, etc. You're fine. All right. Game state, breastplate on top of this Raijin. It looks like maybe a mid guard going onto this Nike. I would like to see her pick up a little damage, knowing he's got a Runeforged Glat. And I'm assuming that's going to be a mid guard and a Sovereignty on the side of the Bacchus. Plenty of Fizz D. Now I need to translate that to a little bit of damage here. Kama feeling comfortable enough to trade. Runeforged procced. This Bacchus is doing, the Bacchus is doing really well, forcing dashes. The Hercules understands, obviously dashing out of that burp, realizing that he can't get stunned because he can get CC gridlocked off the flops into the original, etc. It's playing really well. There's that Kama jump over the Bacchus burp we mentioned before game. Kama obviously going that Thieves we mentioned with Bluestone immediately into that damage, aka Jotuns for the cooldown. And it's an incredibly cheap item. Obviously, good place to be in as Kenji's roster with this Raijin Nike Bacchus. Based off graphs, 1,800 gold, or 16, almost 1,700 gold, almost 1,900 XP. Obviously, after wave clear, that's going to swing a little bit here, which it does. I'm assuming this is going to be the breastplate of regrowth for the Hercules for the movement speed a little bit here. Slash kite ability. Honestly, I wouldn't have minded a wing blade either. I want to see this Hercules kind of facilitate his team like we mentioned with these pull pushes. Yes, I'm correcting it just because Zabe yelled at me. Possible blink as well for second relic. Good dash to get out of the damage range. Kama jumping out. Ooh, that pull would have been juicy. A little off the mark. Obviously red buff. They decide to immediately jump over for blue, possibly trying to skewer that. Well, unable to. Kama skewering it. Should be red buff. However, a little bit of a delay there. Hercules getting Boulder off. That had 25 HP. Boulder contacting it and securing it for a Tires roster. That is unfortunate. Kama hovering on a ward. Gets jumped on by the Nike. Immediately goes toward purple. Obviously the purple giving prot, shred, and attack speed. Raijin dashing on the Kama is going to force immediately. I'm assuming that Kama, not needing the Kama yet, felt healthy enough. Raijin obviously with that breastplate. I would like to see Kenji's roster get a little aggressive here, knowing that they have plenty of health. That's a good Bacchus ult contacting the Kama and Hercules. The Raijin gets pulled. Medusa ult contacting both the frontliners, unable to not contact the Raijin before getting dash off. Raijin getting some more damage off with his 1-2. You're going to be a little careful sitting at tower edge with the Hercules. Still able to remain healthy. Both rosters, I'm assuming, going to back off here. Raijin going to have second relic on back. I'm assuming that's going to be an ob shard, obviously, for the Heart Ward that's on the other side. Looking for that percent pen on the Raijin. Mixed with the Raiju's going to hit like a truck. Oh. A mystical mail on the side of the Nike. That is interesting. I'm not against it. Obviously not doing a ton since all the nerfs after mid-season last year. Might have went a mid-guard, aka mainly because Medusa elected to go auto-attack versus ability base. Place the second ward here as the ward was dying. Obviously ward coverage favoring Kenji's roster. Second relic on the Raijin. Only one with second relic currently. Aegis beads, pretty stereotypical. Obviously that breastplate. I'm assuming Slash would like to see possible Soul Reaver here. On the side of the Raijin. Obviously with the double Thebes on the opposite side of the map. Or team. Hercules hovering. Looking for that push-pull. I'm getting a ward on Bull. Pushing straight through, making Raijin miss the 2. A.k.a. Raiju. So looks like a little bit of a stalemate as we wait slash are farming a little bit here. Kama has Blink. Hercules elected to go Sunder versus the Blink. Hercules feel confident to jump to position in here. Nike picking up the red here. Kama slow, obviously making sure the Bacchus can't hover and get that stun off on Burp. Bacchus pops Horn Shard, obviously knowing that she's going to have second relic slot open here. Waiting for that cooldown. Gets the Raijin, forces the beads on that pull, just like we mentioned. There's that facilitation. Now we just got to contact one more push, or one more pull push, and it's going to immediately force Raijin, kind of queuing their team to immediately looking for that fight. Getting the pull push now on the Bacchus, Medusa dash. Here's that all in we mentioned. Electing to kind of just poke more. One reason I don't think that turned into a full fight, obviously Medusa dashing the Bacchus, no way to cover that gap. Kama dashing in alone. Good call to step off. Incredibly good poke by the Raijin. Kind of favoring Kenji's roster right now. That back and forth, looking for that poke. However, that push-pull. There's that push-pull on that Bacchus. Immediately that all in. Kama looking for that Raijin pick. Still having ult up. This got to be a little careful. The Raijin still had Aegis. I don't know if that ever turned in good awareness, knowing he can't really force that fight. Naki, you got to keep in mind, Nike has 2 knockup immunities, if you will, or I guess 3 technically if you kind of roll. I want to see this Hercules looking for that Raijin, if anybody. Camel electing to go the purple. Big damage on the side of the Raijin. The Raijin dash got caught. Obviously, he was looking for that dash ult. However, Hercules split second either due to... Excuse me. Hold on. Timeout. The Nike a little opposition of pathing-wise, getting caught by the Kama, who's hovering on the purple. But is it enough? And does. Kama catches with a 1. This is just turning from bad to worse. Obviously, he picks Bacchus. Does he have enough damage? Sundered. Sunders the Kama. A little unfortunate on the jump. A little off the mark. They should be able to push here. Raijin's still down for a fair amount of time. Medusa should still get him a decent amount of damage. Good pull. Hercules just getting out, allowing... Obviously, that pull and him being the target allows that Medusa to stick that tower, getting the T1. So I was going to say earlier was the Raijin dashing, obviously looking for that stun into all. However, I don't know if it was just that split second. Could either be a ping or DR, allowing that Herc to immediately shove that Raijin under tower. Just incredibly unfortunate. See, turning that fight completely, allowing them to turn 2 picks and to now almost dead state even game once again. Or dead state game state. That even game state. Holy shit, John. Ooh. Dude, English. I want to see a big push-pull from this Hercules once again. There's that push, or pull, into a push. There's that flop. We're getting decent poke. Obviously, as the Medusa gets itemization online, the more and more this Hercules gets a hand on anybody, this just goes really poorly for whoever he's bringing back. I think he has to pry out to make sure that he's not bringing back the Nike, who's just going to immediately ult. So as long as he's pulling that Bacchus... Raijin, I think this goes incredibly well. Sunder off the mark. Nike, big jump in. Double knock up into a triple ult. Turns into a decent fight. However, unfortunately unable to really turn that into anything. It should confirm red, though. I don't think they feel confident enough here to push. Maybe they do. Medusa still has ult. That's another big pull. Raijin all in here. Oh, doesn't get the second taiko drum beat. Obviously looking for that all in. Wall shoots me down. Bacchus getting...
He against my Ryzen 2 dash.
Did he rate? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did not see the Aegis big value there.
I thought just the two. I just thought just the 2 dash was going to kill him, and I could.
And then you went in all. Gotcha.
He had a perfect Aegis.
That's huge. Obviously, the Aegis saving the Medusa's life, getting that triple pick. That should pretty much. I don't think that's game. The Raja's up in 15. That should confirm Bird though. Wave gonna be a little out. Hercules can't take, and definitely not game anymore. Wave just getting in, obviously giving them that. Raja's up in 3. There should be a decent amount of poke. Immediately dashing out. Good awareness by these two. Immediately just getting a little poke and getting out. Yeah, he got those sick push pulls, but can't live through the bird. It's a little unfortunate. Stepped out a little too late. 1 shot too many. Literally meant for drinking and for gameplay. Are they stream sniping their own games? I mean, that's what we're here to spectate, so. Do I think anything done with the Bacchus? I think you had some good initiations. I think when you get a little below half, I think you get a little scared versus trying to get that all in. I just got to get a little bit more coordinated with your team. I thought you played really well. I think you played better than you give yourself credit. Cam obviously hovering here. Looking for that pick. Hercules get a good push on the Nike, getting decent damage. Raijin trying to exchange some of that on the Medusa. A big pull on the Raijin. Going for that boulder. Immediately getting some of that damage off. Raijin getting dash out. Kama trying to follow. Gets a slow with the 2. Goes immediately into ult. Kind of hovering for both. Kama gets the all in. Nike trying to get the all in exchange on the Medusa. Not enough on the 1. Medusa able to dash in. A little unfortunate. Just not enough damage. That should pretty much be game. Kama obviously confirming that 2 for 1 in the back. That should pretty much be it. Kama dancing it out. GG on both teams. The triple mash, triple fizz for the win. Yeah, these games are already done. So, typically I try to watch the games live, but like the days I'm not streaming live, like Thursday, Sunday, I'll just watch them the following day. We got one more set still. So obviously the set win. Going to Attira's roster, Attira, OJ Man, and Helltopper. Congratulations. Their first set of the BBC Joust League. Both these rosters. According damage sheets. Now we go to
you got to add a point here. I did say 1.